At the request of any senator, there being none, I've got a brief statement. Senators, 50 years ago today, the Senate established a committee system that forever changed the role and work of senators in the Senate and the parliament itself. On the 11th of June 1970, after 5 hours of debate, the Senate adopted two important resolutions. One established legislative and general purpose standing committees to inquire into government activity and legislation in 7 subject areas. The other established 5 estimates committees to examine government spending. The change in the work of the Senate was immediate and dramatic. Senate committees had produced around 120 reports in the 69 years prior to the change, and more than 5,500 reports in the 50 years since. Public hearings in the same period increased from 500 prior to the change to over 7,000 since. Through its committee work, the Senate became a force for inquiry and scrutiny in a way that was scarcely imagined in 1970, dare I say even in 1901, and in ways that reinforced the uniqueness of this chamber across the Westminster world. I previously said that this chamber is the prime legislative actor in the nation, with a direct mandate from the people, constitutional authority to press its case, and an electoral system that ensures the diverse voices across this nation are heard. But a substantial part of this standing is the direct result of the committee system that has operated over the last 5 decades and that brings these institutional features to life. I'm pleased to inform the Senate that later in the year, the 50th anniversary will be marked by the launch of new website resources to visualise the work of the more than 250 Senate committees established since 1901. These will explore the history and achievements of committees and chart thousands of committee hearings in hundreds of locations around Australia. The launch will provide all of us with an opportunity to reflect upon and celebrate the work of the Senate's committees, and I look forward to providing further detail about that event in coming months. Finally, I cannot mention this anniversary without acknowledging the work of the staff of the Senate, and particularly those from various functions who have supported the work of Senate committees over the decades. The work we do as senators is built upon these foundations and the support we have received from the thousands of staff who have worked here over the last 50 years. So on behalf of all senators, to all the staff over the years led by all the clerks, thank you. I thank senators. Senator McAllister.
Thank you, Mr President, and I seek leave to make a short statement in response to your statement.
Is leave granted? Leave is granted.
I thank the Senate. Mr President, I rise to associate the opposition with your reflections on this moment in our history. And I particularly note your remarks about staff. Opposition senators to greatly appreciate the skill and the diligence and the professionalism of the staff who assist us in our work, and we note that on very many occasions they are significantly more qualified than we are in so many domains, and they assist us humbly, and we are so very grateful for their contribution. The system of standing and estimates committees that was established on this day in 1970 has helped establish the Senate as a significant place for scrutiny and review. It's a signal achievement in the history of our chamber and of parliamentary democracy in this country. The arrangements that have evolved over the last 50 years and changed, but fundamentally the Senate's ability to hold governments to account would not be possible without this system. It is hard to believe, but prior to 1970, only 3 bills had ever been referred to committees. And, Mr President, I was reading through the Hansard for how this debate commenced, and there are, of course, 2 motions that were adopted, a government motion moved by Senator Anderson and a Labor motion moved by Senator Murphy. And Murphy noted at the time that there was no copyright on the proposals to set up standing committees in a legislature, acknowledging the role of all contributors at that time. But as a Labor senator from New South Wales and a Labor senator from the progressive tradition that Murphy hailed from, I am of course particularly interested in his contribution, and he applied his customary energy and intellect to the task of reforming the Senate. And in introducing the motion that established the standing committees, he said, "There is a demand for improved performance all over the world. It may be manifested in some places in riots, in demonstrations, and in other ways in a less violent manner. But a demand for institutions such as ours to carry out their work efficiently is becoming apparent." And there is something about that contribution that speaks to our time also. A recognition that parliamentary chambers must hold ourselves to the highest standards, must give voice to the highest aspirations of all of our people, and always conduct ourselves with energy, dignity and a clear sense of democratic purpose. Mr President, I thank you for drawing this occasion to the Senate's attention, and I look forward to the celebrations that you've foreshadowed.
Thank you. Senator Seward.
Likewise, seek leave to make a short statement about committees.
Leave is granted. Senator Seward.
On behalf of the Greens, I'd like to add our name to support for the committee system. It is a system that people probably in this place will know that I have been also very heavily involved with and chair one of those committees. And I'd like to also support, particularly also call out and support the Secretariat staff of all the committees. They just work and work and work. They never say no. Maybe sometimes they should learn to say no. They are just fantastic supports, endlessly polite without endless requests. I'd also like to note the outcomes of those Senate inquiries. And of course I know the ones the recent ones, but they have actually, the committee inquiries have very significant outcomes. Not only do they expose things sometimes, they also enable the community to become part of this place. And that's why I think they're so important. They allow the community to comment on legislation. They look at legislation, drill down into legislation, enable community and the broader Australia to comment and see how this place operates and comment on what we do. And in particular the reference committees, which are where the community really get to participate. They actually get to suggest things to us. Why don't you inquire into this? So that is such an important role of committees. But when you think about the committee reports that have led to the apologies to forgotten Australians, the apologies to those that are affected by forced adoptions. And that's just two things that I immediately think of and spring to mind, but there's been many, many more. It is a vital part of what we do in this place. So thank you, President, for reminding us of this anniversary. It's something that I think continues as part of the work of this place. It's a vital part of the work of this place.
Thank you. Senator Seward. Well, we will move on.